Patricia Laura Arbona is a teacher specialized in segmental and suprasegmental phonology based in San Nicolas, Argentina, and holds a postgraduate language and phonology degree from Universidad de Buenos Aires. She has got vast experience in TEFL as a teacher, trainer, and drama teacher. She has contributed articles to academic journals and has delivered presentations and workshops in both English and Spanish in Argentina, Peru, Ecuador, Italy, Poland, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and India, among other countries. Her particular areas of interest are holistic education, discourse analysis, and English as a lingua franca. As an independent researcher, she is exploring active learning and paralinguistic and has done experimental work in Argentina, the USA, and Europe. She is the founder and director of Ludodrama, a group of teachers whose main concern is to improve the quality of education.
Okay.
And I after a long time we are meeting, no? After I think 7-8 days. Yeah. Last
Yes, we
time.
met on Tuesday, last Tuesday.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And we are going to start the session. As you know that the teacher in my country, in my district, Jalgaon district. I'm from Jalgaon city, as you know, and most of the teachers they are eager to listen this, and the viewers. Can you please tell me to the viewers about you? What kind of work you are doing and
Okay.
you're from?
Okay. Well, I'm from Argentina. The capital city of Argentina is Buenos Aires. Argentina is in South America, and the official language is Spanish. I'm a teacher and a teacher trainer specialized in phonetics and phonology. I'm also a drama teacher and a presenter in educational issues in both Spanish and English. And I'm also the founder of Ludodrama, a group of innovators whose main concern is to enhance the art of teaching.
Yeah. I'm also going to share one video of one drama of the students from Russia, which Irina shared with me.
Okay, yes, we were together with Irina.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that she's fond of drama and she uses drama with her students. That's great.
And
Yes, it's one of the most important tools in order to keep them active. Yes.
Right. And what are your hobbies? Because I'm going to ask you what are your hobbies. I know that what is your hobby is not sufficient. It's more than one.
Yes, of course, lots of them, but I'm going to try to make a summary of them. Well, I love reading, playing. As I am a drama teacher, I'm very fond of playing. In spite of the fact that I'm an adult, my ludicity is always present in my life. I like doing yoga and gardening, and also I'm fond of learning. I think that we teachers are lifelong learners, and learning is a hobby too, because in our spare time, what we do is trying to learn something new every single day.
Yes.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah. A teacher is always a student also, because we can
Of
learn
course.
at the last breath of our life. We can learn a lot of things.
Of course.
Simultaneously, as you are correctly mentioned about that, we are student all the time, and that is why we are a good teacher. If you want to be, this is the quality of a teacher if you are a student, because we are the one of the major source of knowledge for the student. They can't access
But
all
the
the
student,
time.
yes, but they are also a source of information for us because we are always learning when we are in class. So the class is always a laboratory and the students are supposed to be learning, but at the same time, we are also learning because we are monitoring them and we are getting lots of information, sometimes they are not noticing that they are giving us lots of information.
Pat, I'll pronounce you Pat, Patricia, as you.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course, you may,
Yeah.
of course.
So, as the new term is there, that nowadays teacher is not just a teacher; it is more a facilitator.
Of course, yes. The term teacher belongs to the past. The problem is that we are still having a traditional methodology. In this transformation process we are undergoing, we are trying to leave behind this traditional methodology because we know that it is not working any longer for the type of students we are having at the moment. The 21st century student is completely different from the student who started using this traditional model. About 20 years ago, students at that time were completely different from the one we are having at the moment. So we have become facilitators. This means that education has changed from being teacher-centered to being student-centered. So when the student becomes the most important part in the process of learning, we become monitors, we become facilitators, we accompany them in the process of learning. And this is
Exactly.
great because this possibility allows them to become autonomous. And one of our ultimate aims is to help them to become independent.
Exactly. And you rightly mentioned about it is not a teacher center process, it's a child center or a student center process is there. Uh, okay, how much time usually now you're spending on internet, especially after pandemic?
Yeah, well, we are in this pandemic crisis and we depend on the net to work, to go to school, to meet people, friends and families. So I spend a lot of time because I'm connected in order to deliver my classes, to meet my colleagues and also educators around the world. And in spite of the fact that there are very negative effects due to this pandemic crisis, there are positive results. One of them is that we have been able to create educational bonds with teachers around the world. Because last year, when when schools
Lockdown.
were closed down, we had to start learning a new way of teaching and learning overnight. Yes, so it was really very difficult for us to start teaching online because we were not used to doing it every day. It was something that was present every week. But
Right.
this necessity made us get together. So we started creating bonds with educators around the world. And this has given me the possibility of meeting you and many other educators around the world. And we have enriched one another because we have been sharing our teaching practices. We are styles of working, and in this way, we have been able to enrich ourselves. And this is
Yeah,
priceless.
yeah, exactly. Approximate how much time you spend every day if we calculate in hours? How many hours? You,
Well, I have never calculated that, but I work all day long. Mm?
yeah, yeah.
I get up early in the morning, and sometimes I finish. Well, I of course that I stop at lunchtime, but then I usually finish at 7, 8, or 9, depending on the activities I have on each day. So I have never taken into account the amount of hours, but I know that I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time. My screen time is very important nowadays. Of
Yes.
course, that before this pandemic crisis, um, of course,
Of course, less.
I used to have physical classes, for me, the contact with students is essential. It was very difficult for me at the beginning, and I suppose that this might have happened to all teachers. It was very difficult to get used to new way of delivering classes, because for me, the emotional atmosphere that is created in the classroom cannot be created when we are separated by a screen. So although we may try hard, this special climate cannot be created when we are separated, because we cannot establish that sort of rapport that is present when we are together. And the students do not feel as comfortable as they are when they are in the physical classroom, because normally they are afraid of asking questions in the classroom. Imagine now that we are separated. So we don't know if they are really learning, if they are really paying attention. Sometimes they mute themselves, or we cannot see their faces, so the interaction is difficult through a screen. So there are several disadvantages.
In here for me, it is really increased the time which I am spending nowadays on internet, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. But the comparison which I realize in between you and me is that we don't have that much of access of internet for the student, because they are in a remote area or a rural area where they are having lot of issues, technical issues. They are not in the city area, they are from far away from the city area. Even they are so much poor, most of the student, that they don't have the gadgets, the mobiles, the laptops and all these things. They can't afford that much, even though it is increasing nowadays to having a smartphone. But that is why we are having little less work compared to the other teachers. So it is time for teachers, in my reason, to focus on their own study, to enrich them, because we don't spend that much of time on online classes for our student, because it is not feasible for them, it is not possible for us to have that much of classes compared to you. So now I'm living in a city area, which is urban area, and most of the teacher is in urban area. Now we are discussing, going to learn from a teacher trainer like you around the world. So compared to that, I like to say that we are having little more time compared to you, because we don't have that much of classes.
Okay. No, the thing is that you were mentioning those students who do not have the opportunity to be connected. Well, the same happens in Argentina. So who can have these online classes? Only those students who can have smart devices. But there are many students who live in rural areas, or they do not have access to the internet, so they have not had classes for months. For example, last year, physical classes were not present at all here in my country. So those students who were able to have internet devices at home were able to follow online classes, but there were many children who did not have these possibilities. So that's why we are having serious education problems at the moment that will be shown in the future, because those children who have the possibility of having classes, well, the online classes are completely different from the ones we can have in a physical classroom. Contents were greatly reduced. The type of evaluation was completely different. And as I said before, it is still very difficult to see if the students are really learning, because we are separated. So there are many, many problems. But at the same time, we have had the opportunity to develop our professional development, our teaching. Continuous professional development. Yes, continuing professional development. And you know that if you search the net, you will find lots of webinars in which you can improve your skills, your teaching skills. And this is great because normally when we are having physical classes, we are so focused on what we are doing that we do not spend as much time as we should in developing our skills. So this is a great opportunity, and you are completely right. Hmm?
Yeah, yeah. I have shared one video with you that time. The video, it tells us the actual ground reality uh, of my reason. Have you go through that?
No, no,
Yeah, I
through
have
you
shared.
said it. Well, yes, I saw that you sent me something, but I just um, um, saw your message a few minutes before. I told you that I was ready, that I needed the link. No, I didn't see it really.
Okay. Yes, and in that video, you can get the idea of actual situation, what is happening here in my district or in my region.
Ah, okay.
How internet is beneficial for teachers and for students. And when I ask this question to you, I think it is more useful for teachers in my condition. I want to know about in Argentina how it is beneficial for the student too and teachers.
Okay, yes. Well, you know that educational technology is present more than ever before, so we depend on it. First of all, the most important benefit is the type of information that we get. It is instant information. It is the best source of information. Whatever we need is found just by Googling it.
On fingertips.
Then, yes, just
Fingertips.
by pressing a key, you get you get information that you need. Then accessibility. The internet never closes. It is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can get the information needed.
Yeah.
What else? Then communication. As I said before, we can communicate with people around the world instantly. That I have a doubt, I can connect with you. You are from India, and this is really amazing because I can call you and have a conversation. Well, I have this problem. Shailes, could you help me? Well, this is also priceless.
Yeah.
Then entertainment. At the moment, it is the only source of entertainment because we are here in Argentina. We are in lockdown at the moment. So the only thing we can do is to watch a video or listen to music and using the net permanently because we cannot go outside. What else? Job opportunities. We can get a job and work from home. There are also universities usually offer online courses so that students around the world can take these courses. I think that this is very important because before the internet, we cannot realize how teachers could work in a different way. Everything is much easier. But of course, there are disadvantages because we should remember that technology is just a resource. It's not the tool. It may help us to make our classes better, but there are other important resources that should not be forgotten. We should remember that in the case of technology, the relationship between the student and in this case, the screen, any type of screen, is passive because the student is just seated at the desk in front of a screen. The problem is that today we are promoting active learning, and the active learning is not taking place if we are always keeping classroom. The students should be active agents in the classroom. Well, at the moment, this is impossible, but we are working very hard when we go back to school because the new tendency is to use active methodologies in which the students have a central role in the process of learning. And in this way, they know what is happening in the process of learning. They become lifelong learners. They become proactive. There are many characteristics that may be present when we encourage this type of learning. But anyway,
the touch, actually. We miss the
sorry?
touch with this. We miss the touch
That's
with the
it.
student.
Yes, you are right. This is the real problem we're having at the moment. We are trying very hard, but you see, the physical classroom is the physical classroom, and it cannot be replaced by any other type of classroom.
Yeah.
The online classroom may be a help. That's why
Technology
teachers
never replace teacher.
will never replace teachers. No, 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 because they cannot give love, and we do. And love is present, should be present in the classroom. Otherwise,
The love,
teaching and learning,
affection,
of course,
love,
yes.
affection, you can't get it online. It is
Students
very
need to be.
important.
The thing is that normally, for example, when I was young, and today this may be present in the classroom where you say, well, okay, good morning, sit down and pay attention. This is not the best way of starting a lesson. No.
No.
We need to create a special atmosphere. That's why through Sorry?
That was the oldest one, stand up.
But it is still present.
Yeah.
Yes, this time, silence, be quiet. Why? Because if you follow the drama pedagogy, you will see that it is necessary to create a special atmosphere before starting. That's why warm-ups are becoming quite common. For example, I use warm-up with my students, and they are really very useful because these type of activities help them to keep their brains alert and ready for the process of learning. If I say, okay, sit down and pay attention, this is important, they will never learn, because they learn when they are emotionally prepared. They do not learn when I want to teach them. They learn when they are intrinsically motivated. That's we need to understand. That's why we say, I don't know why my students are failing, because we are not paying attention if they are really learning. I'm more concentrated on my teaching than on their learning. And this is the big mistake we are committing at the moment. First, I need to pay attention to their state of learning. And according to that, I may start my teaching. That's what has changed radically in education with these new trends that we are having at the moment. For example, you, me, and all the educators we normally meet together are doing the same. We are trying to change the quality of education, presenting a new type of classroom in which the students are really the most element in the classroom. We are working for them because we want them to be good learners. And in order to be good learners, we need to be good teachers. That's why we are learning all the time how to improve our skills to give them what they really need.
When I ask you the question that how much it is beneficial for student, and the same time I am asking that question to myself, and it is not that much beneficial, because even though internet is a very important resource of knowledge, but for my student I am the biggest resource.
Of course.
For me, internet is a resource from where I can get the information and share with the student. The reason behind that is they don't have access to internet, gadget and all these things. So independently they can't go and get the knowledge from internet directly. So teacher is the important source. I mean, this is not applicable here in India, but also around the world. Whether there is the gadgets available, even after that, teacher is still the biggest source of the knowledge for the student, isn't it? What do you think?
Of course, yes, it's completely true. The thing is that they need our guide. They cannot get information without our guide. And when students are guided, they can become good explorers of knowledge. And something very interesting takes place. Serendipity takes takes place. This means that when we discover information just by chance, for example, it happens to us normally. Whenever we search for information, we are searching for specific information, and when we get it, we find related links, and we um, we have a look at it and we find it as interesting and the one we were looking for. So it becomes part of the information we were interested in. So when the students are taught how to search the net, they are able to find the required information, because sometimes not all the sites are reliable. So they need our guide. They cannot work individually.
And when the next question is also related with that, uh, is according to you, what are the dangers of internet? Now we are just talking uh, the positives of internet, but negative comes when students go by their own and get access
Yes,
to there. It is
yes,
not
that is.
necessary that they will get the exactly the gist of the topic. No, that will not happen. And here's, as you mentioned earlier, that we need a mediator there, what to search and how much to search, how much to get. And in this particular segment, in this particular area, student can get misguided. So the question for you is that, according to you, how dangerous internet for those students?
Yeah, well, the thing, as we should be guided. Without guide, they won't be able to find information that we are asking them to look for. Um, so first of all, guide. And then we need to teach them how to use the material they have found. Because what they normally do is to copy and paste. And this is not a good way of learning, because this is something that we cannot control, especially now that we are separated by the screen. Because copying and pasting does not indicate that the students are really learning, because when they find information, what they need to do is to read it through, analyze it, interpret it, and then can write a summary or write something about it. Because just by copying and pasting the information, they won't learn what the teacher has indicated. So it is not about how to find information. It is also about how to use the information they have found. So the idea is that reliability is very important. Whenever we tell the students, okay, I want you to search this information on the net, I need to give them the specific sites they may consult. Because we know that sometimes we consult sites and we realize that there are mistakes, or that the information is not reliable. It has nothing to do with the main information. So we need to be very careful, especially with students. That's why they need to be told the hows, the whys, and the whats.
Yeah. And Patricia, do you think that should internet be monetized or censored for that reason?
Well, I think that
Government or the local bodies? What
it
you
should
think?
be regulated in
It
some
should be
way in order
regulated.
to avoid harmful content. But of course, I know that there is no universal model for internet content regulation. But I think that countries are doing something. For example, on Facebook, if you post something that may be harmful, well, it is not allowed to be online. So some sort of regulation is around the world.
Yeah, because it should not, if anyone hurts with the information or the shared topic, it is really not good. But it
Yes, it is a problem.
yeah. But it at the same time, it should not be that kind of thing happen in the democracy. That the freedom of speech or a freedom of expression comes that time, that it should not happen that the authorities ban or just restrict you to express yourself. That is also, that might also happen when the matter comes of expression of what you are going to express. Freedom of expression, after all.
Well, it's a difficult issue.
And it's a big,
I,
big one.
Yes, I think
has
that
a
it
depth.
depends on the governments, yes, but we know that social media has positive and negative effects. So that's why we need to be very careful. But when we allow children to use digital devices, as parents, we are responsible for that. And as regards the amount of time, this depends on the children's age. But I think that the responsibility and the regulation start at home.
Yes, we call it here in the sanskar. We have we call it sanskar.
Okay, well,
The word we use here in India. That is yeah. And anything else you want to ask me?
Well, what is the present? I think that you are in lockdown at the moment.
Yeah, and we are just moving toward the unlock, because there are some
that's
districts,
great.
yes, and some district which is having a less positivity in percentage. They are going to have unlocking them with the some of the areas, some of the districts.
But this does not mean that. This
Not
does
for
not mean.
all, but right now
Okay.
exactly we are in lockdown, and it is really necessary.
Of course, yes, I imagine. But this does not mean that you will start physical classes.
No, not at all.
Okay.
In
Well, you will go on having.
Yeah. In fact, we are having a learning loss, and I'm selected in a committee where I need to study and send the reports to my authorities, to my officers, that what can we do. We are just focusing on some of the activities for example, for class 4 standard 4, and I'm doing the study that what can we do, how can we reduce the learning loss, because learning loss is a big issue here and all over, in fact, globally.
Yes, globally. Yes, here it is also the same. We are having the same problem, the learning loss. How are we going to be able to solve the problem we are having at the moment? Of course, we will have to reduce content, but I think that the emotional problem is much more important than the contents.
Yes.
Because children and adolescents are suffering a lot. And yes,
psychologically it is the effect of psychologically on the children, it's more than the learning loss, I guess.
Of course, it's much more important. For example, here in Argentina, we started having classes in March.
Okay.
So adolescents and children were very happy because they restarted of school life they used to have before the pandemic crisis, because they were eager.
Your academic year start from which?
In March.
In March. Okay.
And it finishes in December. Yes. So our school year starts in March. So we had classes till May. On the 22nd of May, we started with complete lockdown. And well, again, students started having problems because they are at home, they cannot go out. But, although there are strict regulations, people are not behaving in the same way they used to when this pandemic crisis started last year. They feel more relaxed. And they go out, they go to the park, they have social meetings, and this is not allowed. But of course, the government cannot control everything.
Yes.
So I don't know when this pandemic crisis will end then, if we are not following the restrictions. So we are in a very difficult situation. But anyway, after the lockdown that took place some weeks ago, we continue giving online classes. But of course, the difference is very great. So my question for you is, in this type of online classes, of the 4 macro abilities, which is the most frequently used?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Of the 4 macro abilities, reading, writing, speaking, and listening, which of the 4 abilities is the most frequently used in this type of classes we are having at the moment?
Right now, they are reading whatever material they have. When they are interacting with these teachers and with the parents, that time they can listen more. Now, for to learn any language, as we know that listening the language is very important, then speaking, then reading and writing. But now in this situation, they are not listening too much. Whatever they are listening of their parents. So now what they are doing there with the textbook, they are going to read it, they just try to write something, but the listening and speaking is less there, because there is no interaction, direct interaction, even no interaction that much by using phones, WhatsApp, Zoom, or any on any platform. So I think listening is so much less. That is the biggest loss. We have all kind of losses in academic year, but this is the major one. That and next time, Pat, I would like to ask you a lot of question regarding that, but not in this session, in the next session. And I hope that time Irina join us for that particular topic. And the topic which is important is, what is the role of parents in the time of pandemic?
Oh,
Yeah, I
what a
have.
topic.
Yeah, big topic. That is why I says that we are not going to cover it right now, but next time.
Okay.
How it is important now? I have written one article and also on my blog regarding that. That simultaneously it is more important, because parenting is an important skill, and this is the time of pandemic where parenting and the parents role is more important than the teachers, because nowadays the students spending much more time with the parents and not with the teachers. So the role
Yes.
of parents is so much important. So we have the facilities for that teacher training, we have the
Mm.
facilities for student to learn, for the children, but we need more facility must be there for parenting, for the parents. Then who will have the classes of parents? There must be training program for parents too, because it's parents responsibility is is bigger in this time. What do you think?
Well, it is a very difficult issue, because also parents overnight became
Yeah.
teachers.
Yeah.
They became teachers. And well, when you are not a teacher, it is very difficult to teach. Of course, you cannot teach. But
Untrained teacher, untrained.
they have had to manage all the same. Well, the problem is, and I have experienced this, the problem is with, for example, last year, many children started learning because they were in first grade.
Yes, first
So
grade.
they started learning. So imagine for parents teaching their children how to learn the language. I mean the mother tongue.
Yeah.
So there is a very important gap there, because the teacher was helpful in a way, but the most important load of work was on the part of their parents. So I don't know how they managed, but of course the children in general were not able to learn how to know their mother tongue just online.
Yeah.
Besides, they are 6 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
It's impossible, really.
Most of the parents says that our children in listening more of teachers. They are not listening to us. They are not follow our instruction of education, of study. They are more follow to their teachers, not the
Of
parents.
course. Well, but that's good because we are helpful, but well, in the case we are teachers and we can help our children. But there are parents who are engineers, doctors. They have different professions, and they know nothing about teaching. And there was no possibility of getting extra help with another teacher, with a private tutor. So they had to manage themselves. So I think that they have been doing what was at their disposal, and that's the end of the story. Um, of course, that children have had learning problems, and of course that they rely on their teachers because they normally say, Miss Betty knows much more than you do, of course, and I'm going to pay attention to her. Well, do it because I know nothing, you may say. I'm just a parent.
Yes.
We are in a difficult situation. That's why we need to help each other. Parents, I imagine that they have had meetings together. I mean, children that belong to the same course, they should have met together in order to solve certain problems that were shared by most of the parents. So how to teach this, how to do that, in what way can we tell the teachers that we need some extra information, because the teachers are supposed to have given parents information about how to deliver the classes.
Right.
Because teachers and parents, both of them, have been responsible for their children's learning.
Exactly.
So it is a situation we have never been before. So
Yeah.
everybody's learning and everybody needs one another's help.
Okay, Pat, what now we are towards the ending of this conversation, your interview, and I'm really thankful to you for that. What you like to say to the teachers, my teachers in my district or in my region? What you like to say
Well,
Re-
as regards teaching,
regarding teaching and using resources, because this is a great opportunity for teachers,
okay, okay.
isn't it?
When I am a passionate, I love what I do, and I try to transmit my passion to my students. And when you feel that your students are working alone, this means, oh, I have been successful because now they
They are
have become
independent.
autonomous. Yes,
Independent.
they are independent. And I think that my motto is teach and let them do.
Yeah.
So you teach them, but you need to give them the freedom to reflect on their own learning,
Yeah.
because it is important to use metacognition. It is a very important tool that is not as present as it should be. When the students are given the opportunity to reflect on their learning, they really become autonomous. When they do not know what to do with their learning and how to apply it in real life situations, they are not learning
Learning
at
by
all.
doing.
It is learning by doing.
Learning by doing is the
The thing is
concept.
that,
Yeah.
yes, today we have teachers who still believe that students should repeat like parrots, should repeat contents like parrots.
Yeah.
And this is not a way of learning. They need to know how useful a content may be in a real life situation. And when we evaluate, evaluation means questions, not answering.
Yeah.
Because we are used to give questions to our students, but I think that it is much more useful if students ask questions to us,
Yeah. Yeah.
because learning
Is
takes place
asking
when the
questions.
students ask, not
Ask.
uh,
Answer.
when they answer
Answer.
questions.
Right. They are
And the
asking.
type of tests we are having at the moment are based on questioning about the content we have taught. So
It's about
I think that
learn
another
how to
important
learn.
aspect, yes.
Learn
So
how to learn.
we need to change how the students are learning. So
Yeah.
what we need to pay attention to is how the students are able to use the information I have given them, not to test if this or that information taken from a book or from any source has
Nothing.
been learned. No, what is important is the utility, the use of the piece of information I have given them. I think that it is the best way of
Yeah.
checking if the students have learned.
Because naturally they have curiosity, and curiosity comes to the questions they are asking to us, isn't it?
Yes, yes, they are inquisitive by nature.
Yeah.
Human beings are curious by nature, and we need to encourage students to be curious and to ask questions. I always say that silence is not healthy in a classroom, because when we have a silent class, this means that they are paying attention to a teacher delivering.
That is
Uh,
not truth.
Something, yes.
Yeah.
So a real class is when the students are busy working on something the teacher has given them. They are working together cooperatively, and this means that oh, my energy is about
Yeah.
to disappear. Over? Okay, sorry. The idea is that we need to know, as I was saying, how they are learning. And when we discover how they are learning, they are able to discover themselves if they are learning properly. That's why questioning them every single class about that
Yeah,
is
we
very
need to
useful.
motivate them to ask question. We need to create the situation. That is why we call ourselves not a teacher but a facilitator in real
Of
manner.
course. Yeah, that's why we need to be facilitators. The term teach, I think that we are educators, really. The term teacher belongs to the past.
Yes.
I think that the term facilitator and an educator,
Yeah.
because we are not transmitting contents.
Yeah.
We are much more than that. We
Information.
do,
Yeah. If
yes,
the student
yes.
is not learning the way we teach, we must teach them the way they learn.
Of course, you are right. Yes, yes, this is completely true. Yes, that's why we need to think, take into consideration their brain, not ours. Sometimes we say, what you don't understand, this is so simple, but we are thinking using our brains, and there is a generation gap, and their brains are not mature enough to understand it the same way we do. That's why
Sometimes
we need to adapt our
Sometimes we
teaching.
forgot that we were children. Some.
Yes, of course. We need to remember that
Right.
permanently.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, then. So thank you, Pat, for your time, your discussion. It will really fruitful for all the listeners, all the viewers. I say, because it is the program of listening rather than watching, because we need to listen the words uh, and the sentences, how we can be the best version of ourselves. If what I was yesterday, if I will be tomorrow, then that will be my biggest defeat. I
Of course.
have to
I know.
learn and improve every day, isn't
Yes,
it,
of
Pat?
course. This is our ultimate aim,
Yeah.
to to remain learning every single day. That's why we are life learners. Well,
Yeah.
Shailesh, I'm very thankful, and I give you a big thank you for this invitation.
Yeah.
It has been a pleasure for me to be with you
Yes.
today
Yeah.
and to exchange ideas about teaching. I think that we
Definitely.
could go on speaking for ages about this topic.
Yes, I'm also planning a telecollaboration program in between the teachers of India and Argentina, and then after students. I have a lot of ideas which I'm going to share with you. I hope the meetings will be fruitful in real manner. With that
Of
note,
course.
I say thank you very much once again, and we'll meet again the day after tomorrow, and I'll talk to you later on. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.